Hey, this is... Can't even remember what moniker my name is on here. The purveyor of cheese, I think. Oh, Captain du Fromage. I think that's French. So, Shave lets Stoke off the hook with the not doing his own research. I put a link on Stoke's video about doing your own research, and it was like and I did this sort of snarky straw man. I just did research on doing my own research, and it was linked to a study about how the doing your own research has been like a catchphrase for the, I don't want to, let's just say the conspiracy community. Yeah, let's call it that. The conspiracy community. Do your own research. For those who want the Reader's Digest version of it, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a link in the description box to that article, and what we'll do is talk about it. Yeah. So the do your own research has been of two things. One, it's dismissive as a host. Like, I'm not going to take the time to share with you my source. Or two, it also states, this is what the article states, that you don't necessarily have a source. And, it's like, I believe this, and you can do your own research. You do your own research. And the issue I have with it is I have a pattern recognition bias. So when I hear certain terms that, like you've said in the past, Stokes, like the do your own research and the men with tiny hats and the whole milquetoast thing, that's not the first time that I've heard those terms within certain articles and certain segments. And it distracts me sometimes from maybe the point you're trying to make. And I'm thinking, and I'm not sure, is your source these secondhand sources that I've heard these terms from before? Dangers of doing your own research. Now, this whole do your own research thing, it even goes into details, I believe, about how people with post-secondary education are criticized. Almost, near cookie cutter what you were describing there, Stoke. Meaning, whatever our education was from an accredited institution, depending on how much we did, which I didn't do all that much, I didn't finish, I dropped out, so make of that what you will. But it's painted as, these so-called experts in their ivory tower just parroting back and forth to each other the same facts. Like, they don't want you to know the truth kind of shit. And to point Shave to say I don't know, I get that too. I don't know either. But with the other side being so certain, it doesn't make sense to me how there can be certainty on another side. Just as, take an example. If Stoke, you are certain that I believe it's the sparks coming off the footage that I saw, because the dentist guy who was a researcher, I took that from your video, and I watched this documentary on the different 9/11 facts and things that they point out and everything else. I'm assuming you're referring to when they talk about the thermite and they show the thermite and how, this is burning and it burns just like thermite, and the so-called experts will tell you that it's just how aluminum melts and blah, blah, blah. To present that as a fact, my training and education doesn't allow me to say that's a fact. So to me, that's a variable. When you start saying, okay, the thermite thing's a fact because look at this, and the cut girder is a fact because look at this, it throws out your possibility of being incorrect. And I like to think of myself as keeping an open mind, and I do my best to pursue truth. And as a result of that, I look at all sides and all possibilities. And, checking your biases, peer reviews, like what we're doing here, we're presenting our points of view to our little circle, and, Shay for you, or Sned can be like, oh, fuck you, you're full of shit. It's, pretty wild. Now, if our sources during our research, and say it's the research on 9/11 or our research on financials. So when I do research on financials, I don't always go to, the particular articles, or I'll go to the articles and I'll try to hunt down the article's source. And for me, doing my own research, if my article's source is another source and is another source and is another source that leads to a broken link, then I have to weigh that against other information, if that makes sense. And I, given a point, I don't know. I think it's okay to look into things. I think the word research is thrown around a little bit. And I think in some cases, at its worst, getting a person to do their own research, if they're doing it on the Google algorithm and it's just representing that person with their preconceived notions so that they can put advertising in space in front of a person, that's not good to me. That's no bueno. And frankly, I think if there is a beast, then it's like this economic beast. You know what I mean? Like the beast in the Bible. It's like this economic beast, like the love of the dollar, or the love of how we're going to make money. Like, who cares what the news I put in front of you says, so long as it gets you to look so that I can have my billboard in front of your face. You know what I mean? That's my problem. That's my bone to pick. And, Chase may not have time for that, but honestly, bro, I got nothing better to do than that. I think it's a fight worth making. And I think that it's important to educate ourselves and just keep things correct, and not to fall for whatever it is that we're going to be falling for, whether it's one side or the other. And frankly, if you're stacked up too high on the one side, it really doesn't matter, man. They're going to get you coming or going. They're going to get you if you're still in California drinking the fluoride out of the water, versus if you're up in Alaska and buying Alex Jones's toothpaste. Frankly, I see it as two sides of the same coin, man. Is there some hinky shit out there? Oh man, is there ever? Brings me to the Epstein issue. Now, I think where let's take a look at Epstein, quote, killing himself for Sned's sake. Why would we think that? Well, versus the official thing. So we would think that he kills himself because there's all this article and supportive imagery and allegorical evidence of very powerful people that we imagine could have the power to have somebody killed while incarcerated, right? It takes zero imagination whatsoever. From Prince Henry on to Donald Trump and all the other weirdos with their billionaire tastes, it's a very high likelihood that some messed up shit was able to go on that island and in that man's house. And if those things are true and somebody else did do it, you could say it would be a matter of covering it up, but could also be a matter of justice being served. So I'm just throwing out possibilities here because this is fun, right? So I follow, for some reason, on my YouTube shorts, these ex-convicts come up on my thing. And like these guys that talk about their time in prison and the things that happen to child molesters. So if Epstein's in prison as a possible child molester, things aren't going to go well for him. And it isn't because you knew Bill Clinton. It's just because child molesters don't last very long in prison. That's possibility. Possibility 3. So we got the killed, sanctioned by some sort of high-end person. Killed, sanctioned by, I don't know, prison gang, whatever. Possibility 3, the actual narrative. Dude killed himself. He was fucked up in the head. And if you listen to or follow some of the interviews that he gave about what he says he does for a living and the interviews of people who interact with him, to me, the man wasn't right in the head. Like I'm not going to say in my extensive life experience, but he is a fucking weirdo. And his world was imploding before his very eyes. So who even knows? I think he had motive, and obviously he had opportunity, and it fits. Is somebody getting away scot-free? I mean, dudes probably get away with suiciding other dudes in prison quite a bit, I would imagine. So it's all good. It's interesting. Now, Sned, does your conspiracy of the Epstein thing, does it expand out to where, say, like what Alex Jones shared a while back, where they do these blood sacrifices and Hillary Clinton is like a vampire and drank the blood out of that tub? If you saw that picture, I'm curious. Inquiring minds want to know, because I don't know. All right. Hope all is well with everybody, and I'm enjoying the topic. I certainly, I'm probably a little late in saying this, but I mean no offense in anything that I present. I'm just offering my point of view, and I think I felt compelled to do that because, Stoke, you were equating me to a plantation slave who is just ignorant and all too willing to serve some master from a Mormon small hat race. So I just wanted to clarify where my points of view were, and I guess how I see myself, which is, it's possible I'm fucking delusional. All right, catch y'all later.